What's up, everyone? I'm Noe Gomez. As a performer, educator, and designer in the marching arts, I wanted to know the personalities and philosophies behind the creative minds in the activity. I wanted to check out their workspace, their pastime, eat at their favorite local spot, so I decided to spend the day with some.
Somewhere on the sea, it got a little longer, so it seems.
Today we get to pass some time with
Ezekiel Lanser. Ezekiel was a member of the Phantom Regiment, Pulse Percussion, and the UNT A-Line. He is the creator of front-to-back music, designer at Pacific Crest, Bakersfield College, Golden Empire, and many more.
I'm looking to pass some time with good people. Thanks for passing time with us. All right, everybody, here we are at Ezekiel Lanser's house. We got to check out his workspace. Let's go check it out. Here we are with Ezekiel Lanser. He's allowed us to come into his workspace and learn a little bit more about how he creates and how his entire process is. Cool. So, Easy, how do you start sketching out your ideas when you're about to, let's say, write for a full world-class ensemble?
Well, I mean, kind of for all my projects, I like to start, depending on what I'm working on, you know, if it's battery, I do it one way. If it's full marching band, I do it one way. I'll just kind of give you like the full marching band process or the full front ensemble and percussion ensemble process. So I guess I always start by having all the details out front. I need to know everything about the show. I need to know the beginning, middle, and end. I need to know where we're headed because that's going to determine every single note that I write. You know, if I don't know where the show's headed, then I don't feel as comfortable. So I like to have all the details figured out up front. And once I get those put together, once I have all the information, then I will usually hit the piano and start just kind of plucking out ideas and then I really get a good piano sketch going of the entire thing first. Nice. So I'll write the whole thing on piano, just two hands, and make sure that that has no holes in it. The orchestration is solid. And if it passes that test, then we move on and start orchestrating and getting everything else out there.
So what would you consider the biggest misconception in writing for a world-class ensemble?
Yeah, so when you're writing for a world-class ensemble, I think a lot of people immediately think that every note that you write has to be the hardest thing ever. And that's not entirely the case. Obviously, there's different skill sets that need to be showcased, and there needs to be more opportunities for showcasing those skill sets. But doesn't mean that every single note needs to be the hardest thing. And in fact, that can quickly go the wrong way on you if you have that mentality. Because you know, if you pick and choose your spots, then you know, you don't have to make sure that like everything is incredibly difficult, because there is that aspect of, okay, we need our spots that we need to focus on and really put our time into, and then we need our spots that are just going to sound really good and really musical and you know, more that kind of focus. Right.
So a question that I kind of got from a lot of people when I let them know that you were going to be a guest was, how do you go about making space musical, like allowing there to be space in your arrangements and being confident in having space in it?
Well, I think about space as it's another tool in the toolkit, right? Density it has its time and its place, and space has its time and its place. And I think the music is really going to dictate how much space something needs. Like if we're talking like some battery beats or something, you know, relying on the thematic material that's inherent within the music that I'm writing to will kind of dictate everything, I would say. So yeah, it's just a tool that I try to use for, it can be an effect or it can be just what needs to happen musically. So
sweet. Dude, thank you so much for answering all those questions. Let's go to your pastime.
Let's hit it.
All right, here we are at Huntington Beach. Easy, what are we gonna be doing?
Get into a little surfing today.
Sweet, here we go. So we just wrapped up some surfing. Do you find any parallels in surfing and your writing?
I think that's a really fun question because, you know, you sit out there surfing and you're waiting for the waves. So there's a lot of time for you to kind of think about things. And I used to love thinking about that, like the parallels between surfing and life in general, or your career, or writing. There's a ton of parallels. My probably favorite one to think about is, you know, when you're out there waiting for a wave, you have to be patient. You know, the waves it's not going to be good that day, and you can't give up. You have to keep coming out again and again. And even when you're waiting for the waves, you have to position yourself in a good spot where the good waves are going to come, and then you have to be patient at the same time. So it's kind of like that with life. You know, you got to position yourself in a good place, and then just keep at it and persevere and be patient. And when the good wave does come, you got to be ready and you got to go for it, you know? Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's awesome, man. So Easy, what got you into writing? Like, how did you make that transition from being a performer into actually starting to write?
Good question. I think I was actually kind of writing before I even started really getting serious about performing or playing. Definitely way before my marching career started. I started on piano, and so my mom got me started. I kind of hated it at first, but it stuck with me, and eventually I started just kind of writing music on the piano and fell in love with it there.
Nice.
So I was doing that long before.
And then when did you transition from like piano into drumming? Like what age or how old?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I first started picking up sticks kind of around the same time, to be honest. Like I started off when I was like 5 playing piano, but my brother had a drum set at home, but he was the drummer. And so I actually would, you know, steal his sticks sometimes, and, like when no one was around, and I'd go crazy on those things. But
stepbrother vibe.
Yeah. And then I got more serious about it when I was probably in like 5th grade. That's when I took my first percussion like lessons. And
did drumming come easy to you, or did you like really feel like you had to really put in a bunch of time to kind of, you know, progress?
I don't know. It's one of those things. I mean, like I'm sure I wasn't good at it when I first started, but like at the time I just loved it so much that I wasn't really thinking about it. I wasn't really, you know, registering how good I was or whatever. I just loved it so much and did it like all the time. It's all I did when I first started drumming. And I think that's really the most important thing, you know, make sure if you love it, like you'll get good eventually. Yeah. So, yeah.
Have you ever had any like all-nighters like writing?
Yes. Many times. These days I'm much better about managing my time.
For sure.
And, I try really hard to never get in that situation because it's not healthy at all. But, you know, if you got to get it done, you got to get it done. So pulled some all-nighters. Oh, yeah.
For sure. Awesome. So what do you think has been the biggest life lesson you've gotten from writing?
Self-discipline. It didn't teach me to be self-disciplined, but it definitely taught me that I needed to be self-disciplined. Marching drum corps obviously teaches you discipline, but I don't think it is exactly the same to where it transfers, especially when you're working for yourself and you're trying to go about it, managing clients and managing everything yourself. It really takes that self-discipline for sure.
Do you think that is the best piece of advice you could share with someone who's starting to write?
I mean, that's definitely a really good one, and takes a lot of that. But I would say just get started. Like, start writing and write as much as you can. The more that you do, the more experience you get, and the better you get. So yeah, I would say just get to it.
Get to it, yeah. All right, dude. This was so much fun, but I'm starving. You ready to eat?
So hungry.
Let's hit it.
Let's do it.
Dude, those were some delicious tacos and burritos, and I will 100% go back there, man. Thank you so much.
Heck yeah, man. Yeah, glad
Sweet.
you liked it.
Yeah, so let's go through a couple more questions, yeah?
Do it.
When did you decide that you were going to take the plunge to become like a full-time writer and designer, and like what led to that decision?
Oh man. I think it was in high school. I just fell in love with drumline, and I fell in love with the activity as a whole, and I just saw some really cool shows, and I just got way into respecting and admiring the design when I was, I guess, a junior in high school. Oh no, I guess I was a sophomore in high school. I came to California. I was living in Arizona at the time, and I saw the Southern California indoor drumline scene, and that just changed my life forever. I remember seeing Pacifica High School 2005 live, and I was also marching Esperanza that summer, so I knew John Mapes and the whole squad, and so we were hanging out at the Pacifica rehearsal, just checking that out, and I was just blown away, and and just the whole scene in general. Just fell in love then, and I kind of just knew, like, I'm going to go to college, I'm going to get my music degree, I'm going to learn everything I need to know, and like, this is kind of where I want to end up.
Nice, dude. So. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about how you got your first client and what that whole experience was like.
Sure. So my very first client, I was still in college at University of North Texas, and another student there had to leave his school kind of like mid-semester or something like that, and he just asked around a little bit, like, hey, does anybody want this gig? He was teaching and writing for it, and I was like, sure, I'll take it. I need a gig. I'll take a gig. I was thinking I was in my senior year. And so I took the gig, and it was one of those where you, like a lot of people, where you start teaching and you also write the book, you want to make sure that like they're getting the beats that you want them to have, or whatever the case. So that was my very first gig where I first started getting experience writing.
All right, man. So we're going to do 13 questions, and we're going to wrap this up. This will be kind of speed round, and then that'll be the end of the day. Yeah?
All right.
Sweet. Here we go. What's a place you want to visit?
Yosemite.
As a kid, what did you think you wanted to be when you grew up?
An astronaut.
What is your current pet's name?
Buttons.
Can you say anything in another language?
Khalid Shama Shatori.
What's your favorite memory in your current home?
When Jennifer moved in.
What angers you the most?
When people litter.
What excites you the most?
Seeing people do something awesome and inspiring.
What's your morning ritual?
Wake up, yoga, meditate, get to work.
Symbol lines or no symbol lines?
Symbol lines.
What drum line did you idolize when you were growing up?
Phantom Regiment.
Did you march Phantom Regiment?
I did.
What does Suda mean? If you had to choose another career besides writing, what would it be?
Fighter pilot.
If you could give your younger self a piece of advice, what would it be?
Relax.
Sweet. That's it, man. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you. I really appreciate you. I'm sure everybody is going to appreciate all the time and wisdom you've kind of given everybody. Is there anything you'd like to plug?
Just my company, Front to Back Music. We've got some really exciting news coming up soon that I'm really excited to share with the world. My personal Instagram is @EasyBeasy, and I'll put more like teaching stuff on there, or just my day-to-day life also. And @Front to Back Music is for the company.
Sweet. Thank you guys so much for passing time with us. What's up, good people? Thank you so much for watching. If you want to have a chance to win this episode's giveaway, subscribe to noegomez.productions on Instagram. Then visit Noe Gomez Productions on Facebook and share this episode. We'll announce winners at the end of the month on Instagram. Make sure to watch our previous episode by clicking the Pastime link. If you want to check out some of Ezekiel's work, click on the Pacific Crest link on the screen. Peace!